Hey people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for part 4 of my favorite queer middle grade books. Because just because LGBT plus Pride Month is over, it doesn't mean that you should stop reading queer books. So read queer all year round. Anyway, the first book on this list is called Every Bird a Prince. This book is a middle grade contemporary fantasy following a young aromantic main character as her quest to save a forest kingdom is intertwined with her aromantic identity. This book is absolutely so good. And first of all, the aromantic representation was literally done so well, and it felt literally so authentic. I think the story is so underrated, and it deserves so much more hype, not just for the aromantic representation, but also like for the story itself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just read queer stories just for the representation. I read them because like the concept and the execution is literally so good, and the plot and the story was so good, and it was so engaging and so intriguing. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The friendships felt so natural and so well done. Literally, this book is so good, and it's so underrated. So anyway, with all of that said, including the representation, everything about this book felt so natural and so great. So anyway, I would highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called Small Town Pride. This book is a middle grade contemporary following a young, openly gay boy who tries to throw a pride parade in his small conservative town where people don't always accept him or that idea. You know what I mean? This book is so good. And it's absolutely so awesome, and I just know that it can resonate with so many young queer people who don't have the support systems that they absolutely deserve. And this is a fun little reminder that on my channel, it's okay to be gay, it's okay to be queer, it's okay not to be Alice's het. And as an ally, I support you, I love you, and I accept you because you are valid and you are valued and you are loved and you are accepted. So anyway, I digress. The point is, this book is literally so good, and it's so awesome, and it's so important and necessary and timely. But even aside from the wonderful representation, the plot was so intriguing, and it was absolutely so engaging. The Achillean romance was so fluffy, and it was literally so well done. This book is so good, and I also loved like the friendships and the family that the main character had behind him. We love to see it. This book is so good. Literally, this book is so good, and I was so emotionally attached to literally everything that was happening. I think that this book is better than the author's previous YA books, and that says a lot because I really enjoyed As Far As You'll Take Me and The Gravity of Us. But anyway, the point is, this book is literally so great, and it's so awesome, and I really enjoyed it. So with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Leclair Gets a Clue. This book is a middle grade contemporary that follows a young bisexual main character who happens to have asthma, which is why this book showed up on my favorite disabled queer books a few weeks ago. But anyway, it follows her as she uses her true crime expertise to solve a cyberbullying mystery at her school. This book is absolutely so good. Oh, I can even include it in my part 2 of my favorite books with academic settings. Anyway, I digress. This book is absolutely so good. First of all, the bisexuality representation in the main character was so well done, and I literally enjoyed it so much. The mystery storyline was so immersive, and it made the story so much more engaging. The friendships were so lovely and so wonderful. The family dynamics were so good and so wholesome and so heartwarming. Literally, this book is so good, and I will gladly read more from the author in the future because like their writing was so good, and like the story was so readable. This book is so good, and it's so underrated. Why is nobody talking about this book except for me? Anyway, that's a theme for my channel, honestly. But the point is, this book was so good, and I really enjoyed it. The friendships were so lovely and so wonderful. Like, the mystery was so cool, and it was so awesome. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The plot was so engaging. The story is so awesome, and it has so much heart. So anyway, with all that said, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Science of Being Angry. This book is a middle grade contemporary following a young sapphic main character who tries to discover if her anger issues are genetic. This book is absolutely so good, and honestly I should have mentioned it in my favorite books with disabled queer main characters, but I guess I'll just make a part 2. Anyway, this book is literally so good, and this author is so talented at crafting characters that you can't help but just fall in love with, because her characters are literally so well developed and so distinct, and I'm so excited for her next book in 2023, the one that she's co-authoring with AJ Sass, the author of Ellen Outside the Lines and Anna on the Edge, which I've mentioned 1,000 times before lately. But anyway, the point is, this book is so good. Aside from her well-developed, distinct characters, the plot is so intriguing and it's so engaging. The family dynamics were literally so well done. The main character is a triplet, and she also has 2 moms, and those relationships were done so well. The therapy sessions felt so authentic and so well done. The sapphic romance was so lovely, and it was so wonderful. Literally, this book is so good, and again, it's so underrated, and it deserves so much more hype, because this book is so good, and it's so awesome, and it's well developed in every single element. So anyway, with all that said, I would definitely highly recommend this book. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called In the Key of Us. This book is a middle-grade contemporary following a pair of black sapphic main characters as they navigate grief, mental health, and art at a week-long music camp. This book was absolutely so good, and I really enjoyed it. First of all, both main characters were so authentic and so well developed and distinct, and I literally love them both individually as well as their dynamic together, because their romance was literally so well developed, and it was so lovely, and it was so wonderful. The plot was so intriguing, and it was absolutely so engaging. The camp setting was so wonderful, and it felt so real and atmospheric almost. You know what I mean? Literally, this book is so good because it was so well developed, and it felt so natural because the story is so readable because it was so engaging. Literally, this author is so talented, and this book definitely exceeded my lower expectations, and I would gladly read more from the author in the future because literally they are so talented, because this book is so good, and I really enjoyed it, and I also enjoyed the conversations about mental health as well, so that was so wonderful. Anyway, this book is literally so well developed in every single element, and I really enjoyed it, so with that I would highly recommend it. So, in conclusion, first of all, since this video is a part 4, I will leave in the description box below parts 1 through 3 if you haven't seen those videos already, in case you want some more recommendations. Second of all, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, please remember to read queer books all year round. Third of all, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the panda emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!